Having a pool of competent English-speaking graduates has paid off. With the rise of call centers in the country, many graduates no longer have to leave their families to seek greener pastures abroad. And joining us tonight to talk about these opportunities and challenges as well, we have with us the Country Manager of RMH Teleservices, Mr. Russ Sandlin. Good evening and welcome.
Thank you, Ces. How are you?
You obviously have to work despite most of our countrymen enjoying the holiday.
Absolutely. We only celebrate the American holidays that are participated in America. So here, unfortunately, I had to work, just like you.
And 1,500 or so operators, is that how we call
That's right.
them?
Well,
are now busy.
That's right. We have technical support agents, we have customer service agents, we have sales agents, collection advocates. So we've got a wide range of jobs and duties that we take care of upstairs from here.
The Quezon City as a host of a call center operator is, I would say, is new.
I'd agree.
What are the advantages of locating in Quezon City? Well, of course, we have to say that it's ABS-CBN actually that hosts RMH.
Well, Quezon City gives us a advantage over the other call centers because more people live in Quezon City than any other community within the Manila district. So we're accessible. I think that in driving from Makati to Quezon City on EDSA, I knew that I wanted to be in Quezon City and not Makati. It's also
so you're saying that workers, employees don't have to commute.
That's right.
Don't commute from Quezon City to Makati, which is generally where most of the employment would be, I suppose.
Yeah, about 80% of the call center agents are based in Makati right now, and then a small percentage in Ortigas. So about 60% of the population lives in Quezon City, though. So we really set out to find the best place to be in the Manila area, and that's why we chose Quezon City.
So you're saying that it's actually a wise move. It's surprising that other call center operators haven't seen Quezon City as a more attractive site, or considered Quezon City.
We were contrarian when we picked Quezon City, and I think we're very lucky. And I imagine other competition will come, but that's one of the things that has insulated us and allowed us to grow. And I think that helps us a great deal.
Let's go into, well, the challenges and opportunities in the Philippines. You have been all over, shall we say, the Middle East and the Asia Pacific.
Right.
What would be the advantages of the Philippines as compared to, well, India is indeed the #1 supplier of
That's right.
Workforce, no?
I've worked both in the Philippines, Mexico, Canada, India, all over the place. And one of the things that led me here and our company here is the wonderful talent here. I'm humbled when I talk to my people and see how educated they are, how intelligent they are, how well-spoken they are. So if I look compared to American workers as well. In America,
really?
20 years ago...
We would compare favorably?
You would yes, you would be more favorable than the U.S. call centers today because a call center position is not very attractive to an American anymore. Although 20 years ago it was. When I was in college, I loved going into the call center industry. But now, today, it's hard for Americans to find a labor pool to come work there.
Because?
There's other positions that they prefer to have at this point. Philippines is catching up, but the more advanced economy of the United States allows for more technical positions, things like that.
So that's the advantage. What about what's the downside, or what are the challenges since you've located here?
Well, it's hard to say it's a downside.
Sorry, but I do understand that one is already the dearth of the talented workforce. I mean, you're saying that you're amazed at the talent, but already there's a shortage as the demand increases.
Absolutely. We're trying to hire about 500 people right now, and we're really having to get out there and advertise, and we're in competition with so many other companies. And I think that as there's more of a English curriculum taught in the schools, we'll see more and more talent coming out. But right now, there's not that many freshers graduating compared to, say, India, where you've got, you know, good 50, 75,000 people graduating every semester that are there as a talent in each of the larger centers, like Mumbai.
Well, because they have a bigger population.
Yeah, they got about 10 times more people there.
Or also the quality of education. Can you say that? How do we compare in terms of...
We've been very happy with the quality of education here. We link up with the local colleges to really help them to make that transition from college life to working with us as their first job. So I'd say that we rate very highly here in the Philippines compared to other areas. In the United States, very few people in the call centers have college degrees. Very few. So,
but of course they're speaking, I mean, English is their native language.
Well, the English of the people that we hire is at parity. Everybody in the United States has accents. I've opened call centers in portions of America where the people had more difficulty speaking English than the people that we have here at RMH. So,
really?
yes.
But okay, you're seeking to hire 500. To get that pool of workers, how many do you have to interview? I mean, what's the rejection rate?
Right now,
I understand it's quite high.
Yeah, we only hire 7% of the people that come in. So every 100 people that come in,
you only get 7.
We only get 7 right now. Although we're working with some partners here locally, a company called Teledevelopment, to come in with a test that will allow us to hire the right people, and the people that are near hires, people that are almost there, that could almost do it. We'll have an expanded curriculum so that they'll be able to make it. It's very difficult to delineate in a oral interview who's right there to be ready to be hired, who can do it in training and learn it, and who's somebody who needs more expanded training. So we're excited about piloting that, and we think that we'll be able to increase our odds of hiring more people because of it.
But I do understand that the issue there is who shoulders the cost of further training. Is it the call center operator, the applicant, your client, or a training, the school?
There are so many different ways of doing it. What we do now is if we've hired them, we actually give them their pay, and we help them with parking. We actually provide them with a meal. On the near hire, we give them a stipend, if you will, to help them, and we feed them. But
while they're undergoing training.
That's right. That's just a 1 week, and we partner with Teledevelopment to do that. So
it's your cost. You bear the cost.
We do. And it's a limited cost for the near hires, but for our actual hires, the people that we actually hire, we shoulder the full burden.
So what do you see, can our educational institutions, government, and perhaps the private sector, what can they do to improve this average? It's actually ironic in a sense that you have to reject so many when the unemployment rate is so high.
Yeah, it really is.
It's tragic, actually,
it is.
Think about it.
It really is, and they want to have a job so bad, so it breaks my heart sometimes when we see people that we can't quite hire. That's why we launched this near hire program, though, so that we can really expand that market of people that we can hire. I think that news programs like this are really helpful because it's in English. I was so afraid I was going to have to speak in Tagalog, and I was like, where's my dictionary? but things like this.
So you're saying access to English-speaking programs on television, perhaps audiovisual exposure.
Absolutely.
To programs, whether entertainment or educational or news.
Absolutely, that'll only help. If you look at the industry here in the Philippines, it's already bringing in $500 million a year, U.S., into the Philippine economy. That's huge.
That's huge, but so minuscule compared to where India is.
Yeah, India is at $5.5 billion a year, as is Canada about $5 billion a year. So some people say that
$500 million.
That's right. But some people say that the Philippines could catch up, though. It all rests upon increasing the labor pool of talent who can speak English.
The thing is, it's not. I mean, it's not something you can do quickly.
It's not overnight. That's right. In fact, in China, where people think it's going to be the BPO capital 10 years from now, they're actively looking for English trainers to come there right now because they're mandating
Perhaps those people you want to hire are going to China. Is that
well, maybe 10 years from now they will. That's true. We might be losing some English speakers from here in the Philippines. You're right, that are going to teach English. I hadn't thought of that. But we certainly are losing out to China and manufacturing a lot of that here, and it's going to take them a while, some say a decade, for them to get their English at parity with even the Philippines.
So you're saying that this is an opportunity that's there, but perhaps not yet quite, shall we say, taken advantage of?
Absolutely. I think that more can be done, but by the same token, I think the government's done a great job here of trying to get it to where it is right now. It's been a huge success story. 3-4 years ago, there was very little call center activity going on here. It's just exploding here right now.
So the growth annually would be how much?
I don't have that figure, but it's over 30%, I'm sure.
30%.
Yeah, it's substantial.
Would, though, should the labor pool dry up, what would the impact be? It would mean less expansion? Would it mean pull out?
It wouldn't cause people to pull out, but it certainly would constrict the growth. And companies like our company even are strategically looking long term. Where do we want to be? Is there another place within the Philippines?
And who are our competitors? Or who are the emerging sources?
Oh, other countries?
Yes, yes.
Well, gosh, 10 years from now it's going to be China, but right now it's Latin America. Argentina, Mexico, yeah. Even Brazil, believe it or not. I was in Mexico for 6 months before coming here. I had to tell you, and I was on the border with the United States in a country called Juarez, a city called Juarez, and the English there is so much, it pales in comparison to the English here in Manila. It's so much better here. So people are going there because they call it the nearshore advantage. It's close to home. You can get a flight there and be back to headquarters, whereas here you spend a whole day on the plane, so it's difficult.
Half a day.
Well, depends on what coast you're on.
Okay.
But American companies look at that, and so there's an advantage of going to either the Caribbean or to a Mexico that the Philippines can't really do anything about. So the thing that the Philippines needs to do is continue to stress that English, the language skills.
When you talk about the gestation period in terms of training, how long is that? Are we talking about 4 years?
Well, somewhere like China, where English isn't spoken that predominantly, it's more like 10 years.
Yes, but
because if you're a 5 or 6 year old, that's when you learn your English and you learn it without the accent. If you learn it as an adult or a late stage teenager, it's very difficult to lose the provincial accents, and it's very difficult for you to entertain a job in this industry. So the secret is to start out in the early elementary school. And
so we're talking 20 years.
No.
I mean, that's being done already now, but of course, we have our own problems in the education system.
Sure, but it's not as bad as somewhere where they don't speak English at all. Here, just about everybody speaks some conversational English, everybody. So that baseline isn't as hard to realize. The delta between being able to be hired and not hired is not that terrible to realize here compared to other destinations, even India, for example.
Let's talk about RMH and how you are different from other companies in a sense that there's greater career development for someone who joins your company as compared to other call centers?
Absolutely.
Why is that?
I'm really proud of the people that we have. We did bring out expatriates, Americans, early on to kind of launch this, but our growth and our leadership is now being propelled by the young managers here that we're helping to develop. We've linked up with a company called May K here to help us develop our local talent. We have
so you mean they're not stuck as just answering calls?
That's
they're
right.
not going to stay there.
We're working to help them to have the tools to be great leaders. So we're taking what's the best in America along with the best Pinoy culture management practices we can put together. So our leaders here will be able to take the next step and carry the weight here. So I'm very proud of that. I think that the thing that we do differently than the other call centers is we really commit to our people. That's one example of the things that we do. We really put our people first. I think every call center does a good job of looking out for their shareholders. Well, most do anyway. And
that's precisely why you're locating outside the U.S.
That's right, the labor arbitrage, exactly. And then other companies also do a good job of taking care of their customers. The part that you also had to realize is you have to take care of your people. So we do a lot of things to make sure that we gauge the pulse of our people to make sure that we're doing the right things.
Is turnover very high, usually in this industry?
It's really high, especially up in Makati. I did some consulting.
Give us
It's
an
like
idea.
125% annualized to 185% annualized, depending on which call center. And we're
So that's expensive as well.
It is, because you had to train them, and then you had to
Right.
train the replacements. It's terribly
So
expensive.
that's why it pays for you as well to ensure that they have some career path to follow.
That's right. We're at 85% right now annualized, which is too high, but it's beating the
high.
heck out of the competition, and we expect to be close to 50% at the end of the day by the end of this year. We're doing a lot of things to find out how to be the employer of choice here, and I'm not going to go out on a limb and say that we are yet, but I'm certain that we will be.
And you're looking to, what are your expansion plans? Give us an idea of how big you will be in
We have
3 years.
very large expansion plans. Microsoft is one of our clients, and they're interested in seeing us have some more work here in the spring. And it may be that we had to have a different site to do that because we may not have the room
What kind
long
of
term.
work is this? Does it involve?
It's technical support for...
So you're not necessarily, there are also opportunities for those who are not necessarily verbally skilled in English, but do understand. Is that?
We have a little bit of that. We have another client here, MCI. In fact, we had 25 people from MCI here helping us to launch a program. And part of that is the back office work, where they would do more correspondence work, things like that. There isn't as much of that, but you're right, long term there could be some back office BPO type work that doesn't require the
Accounting
English.
work.
Exactly.
And all that.
That very well could be something in the future here.
So that means that, well, you're here to stay and not moving
Oh, certainly. We're,
to Latin America or elsewhere.
well, we probably will be moving to Latin America too, because NCO has so much, our parent company has so much pent-up work. We have about 50 call centers in the United States, and many of them aren't doing as well as the call center here because the labor pool here is so much better.
So in terms of efficiency, we outrank the 50 or so call centers you operate in the U.S.
At parity or better, yeah, definitely. I would say so.
And if we had the pool of workers, you could bring that business here.
Exactly, and we're talking about that right now. We have call center work there that within our own company that we want to just bring to here.
Well, before we go, let's give an audience an idea of how much, what's the starting rate?
It depends on which program. Some of them are pretty darn easy, and others are more complicated.
Okay.
So
A
anywhere
range.
from 14,000 pesos a month up to 18,000 pesos a month, entry level. And
Entry
again,
level.
That's right. And then we have a great deal of incentives. We provide food for our employees every day. We really pride ourselves in taking care of our people. We give a pretty big bonus every year that somebody's here. If they stay, they get a longevity bonus. So we do what it takes to try to keep them happy.
All right, and lastly, what are the things to remember for the Philippines to be able to, well, I'm looking at the 50 call centers in the U.S. that NCO operates to get them to come here?
Well, I think there's two things. One, we need to work more closely with the government, I think, so that we can coordinate things like holidays. And I'd be remiss if I didn't say Eid Mubarak to all of our Muslim employees and your viewers as well for the participation at the end of Ramadan. But if we could,
If there's a more fixed calendar.
yeah, if we knew in advance, it would be a lot easier for us to make
that's one.
for a plan. And obviously, the other thing would be just to see if there's a way for the call centers to link up with your education to help earlier on so that the people coming out will be more qualified and ready to go.
So that you don't have to have this, what is that program called again?
Near hire
Near
training.
hire.
Right.
Well, Mr. Sandlin, thank you so much for your time and more power to you.
Thank you.
We look forward to more call center operators here in ABS-CBN.
That's right. Absolutely.
Thank you. Well, we'll have the entertainment updates when News Night continues after these reminders.